Alright guys, so this is my second book that I made about the abandoned farmhouses in Washington State, and this book turned out even better than the first one because I was more experienced. And like I said, when I made my first abandoned farmhouse book and my first Puerto Rico book, I didn't know how to remaster all my photos yet. So when I made my second Puerto Rico book and this book right here that we're going to be looking at, it was after I learned how to remaster my photos, so it made them even clearer looking and they look just a little bit better. So let's get into it. The cover is from a house that I like to call Window House, and it made the cut. There was a few other photos that I almost used instead of this one, but I'm glad that this one ended up working out. So, and we're going to start the book out with Window House, and you can see the bird standing on the windowsill. It's pretty awesome. This is one of my favorite farmhouses. I call it Window House just because the window placement was just perfect. Everywhere there needed to be a window, there was a window. And as you can see, it's just surrounded by wheat in the middle of nowhere. This place doesn't get many visitors anymore. Great craftsmanship though. This house was built very nicely. And I came here one evening before the sun started going down, and I caught these birds off guard, and that's why I was able to get some good pictures of some of the birds that were hanging out in this house at the time. During the middle of the day, when I usually go film or photograph farmhouses, the birds are out and about and doing their thing, but I came in and got some pictures at just the right time of day. Yeah, what an amazing old farmhouse. And now we're going to be looking at Hidden House. And like I said, all these houses you can find on my YouTube channel and see full, like, detailed walkthroughs and stuff. I really like that picture of the window. I wish I knew some of the history about the people that lived in these houses, but unfortunately I don't. This house is one of those houses that's definitely in better shape, and I dare say it could still be rescued if somebody had the money and was willing, but it won't be in great shape for long if it continues to be neglected. As you can see, the roof is still in relatively good shape. It still needs to be done, like redid, but it's not leaking nearly as bad as many of the houses are. And this was a really cool old farmhouse. I call it the Forgotten House. I'm really glad I learned how to remaster my photos, because I could tell just by looking at this book compared to my first one that the picture quality is just a little bit better, all in all. And like I said, these books cost me around $500 to make, so I really don't see much of a market for me out there when it comes to trying to sell them. But this is like a hobby and an obsession for me, so if I end up not making money off of it, it's totally fine by me. But for those people that were interested in possibly buying one, it's going to cost you about $500. I think this one costed me about $476 after I got it done and shipped to my house. I forgot just how many good pictures I got of the Forgotten House. This is definitely a place that I want to revisit during a sunset and do a whole new photo shoot. Just love this picture right here. It's absolutely amazing. One of my favorites in the whole book, really. And now we're going to check out the creepy house. And I called this the creepy house just because it's really, really out in the middle of nowhere. There's out in the middle of nowhere, and then there's out in the middle of nowhere. And this house was out in the middle of nowhere, and it just gave me kind of a Jeepers Creepers vibe. And it's definitely a newer abandoned house, but it's still a pretty old house, as you can see. I think one of the things that made it creepy is they just put metal over the porch. And I think that serves many purposes. One of them being it would stop people from walking around on a porch that could fall down at any time. And then there's the only picture of me in any of these books. You can see my reflection in the window there as I'm walking around with my camera. Yeah, this was a popular walkthrough on my YouTube channel. Just type in No Name Explorations The Creepy House and you can find the whole walkthrough on YouTube. But it is just a creepy little house, isn't it? You can see the old cedar shingles that they laid down, and somebody came and just put metal over it all, which is why it isn't all messed up on the inside. It's an awesome little house, though. I totally think it'd be worth fixing up and saving. It could still be saved. For sure. gonna check out the couch house. And I call this the couch house just because there's this really cool old, like, antique blue couch in this little old house out in the middle of nowhere. I really love this picture here. It turned out really good. I don't have many pictures of couch house in this book because, well, couch house is a pretty small house. That picture turned out really good too. There's the couch that gave the house its name. It's really messed up now. I came and, since I've photographed this house for this book, I've recently gone back and looked at this house, and the couch is pretty messed up. And this is another one of my favorite houses of all time, the brick house. And I'm excited to show you guys some photos of this house here. The brick house is an awesome house. It's another one of those, like, really unique, well-built old farmhouses. And I got a lot of pictures of it in this book. I came out here one time when it was really foggy out, and I got these pictures that you're looking at right now, and it was like at the very end of the winter time up here in Washington State, and it was really foggy out, and I couldn't even see the house until I was like 50 yards away from it. So it was pretty cool. It definitely gave it a whole different vibe. I'm going to try to go to as many of these houses as I can the next time it's foggy. And I know it's probably hard to tell, but there's a bird that I captured in the photo right here that's flying up and out, and it was an amazing picture. Really cool sneaking up on them birds. Got some more pictures in the fog here. And this house has that really cool brick house siding on it that I always enjoy. Whenever I see a house with this siding on it, I know it's going to be well built. This house was, even though it looks kind of choppy, it's just unique in its own way, and that's why I like it so much. I got some winter pictures here, and now we're going to check out the pump house. The pump house is a cool old abandoned farmhouse too, and I called it the pump house because it was the first house that I've been to and explored that has a fully intact water pump system still. It's done for now. It's since fallen down, but at the time I was first photographing this house, it was still up. You can see it over here at the end of this page too. So pretty cool old farmhouse. It's another one of those farmhouses that's way, way, way out in the middle of nowhere. Like I said, not just the middle of nowhere, but the middle of nowhere of the middle of nowhere. This house was built very solid, as you can see, with boards and not lath and plaster, but even boards can't stand up to the test of time when you don't have a roof. And as you can see, the roof on this house is literally like half gone, if not more than half gone, so it's over. This house is terminal, so to speak. It will never be saved and rescued or bettered. It's only going to get worse, and it's another one of those houses that will come down soon. So I'm glad I have a lot of photos of it, and I still want to come out here during the winter time and get some winter photos and maybe do a sunrise. We'll see. And I'll put that on another book that I make at a later time. I plan on having like 5 to 10 abandoned farmhouse books before I get done with everything that I want to accomplish. So I'll have a big library before it's all said and done. This is probably my favorite book of the 4 so far, because I could just, like I said, I can tell how much better the photos look remastered, and it just blows me away. In person, these photos are just so detailed, and it's really a joy to see. And this is another one of my favorite houses, is the new house. And I called it the new house because I've been exploring these areas for a long time, and for years I never even noticed this place. And so it was one of my newer discoveries. And it is a marvel, just absolutely a unique, beautiful little farmhouse. Amazing window placement. I think it's beyond saving, though. There's been too much damage done to it at this point. But in its heyday, this was an incredible house. I would love to see pictures of this house when it was still being lived in. And as usual, I caught some birds. As you can see, it's out in the middle of nowhere, you guys. There's hardly anybody or anything around. I love this page. On the left side is just the normal photograph, and the right side is one I just colored in and enhanced a little bit, and I like doing that every once in a while. Another cool photo of a bird in flight that I captured. It really throws those birds off guard when I come walking into one of these old abandoned houses, because they are not used to seeing people. And that's where I like to spend my time, at cemeteries and abandoned houses where there isn't very many people and there's a lot of peace. And now this house I call Lonely House. Now the first time I came to Lonely House, it was, you can see it in one of my earlier episodes on YouTube. It was actually in the winter time. and the place just looked lonely and desolate, so that's where it got its name. And it's got this cool old abandoned red truck parked out front, and that badass tree that's behind it. And I got a lot of good photos of this house too, now that I'm remembering. I did a lot of different color edits and stuff, as you can see. The one on the right side's normal, and the one on the left side is one I colored up a bit. And now I think this is the last house in the book, and it's called the Overgrown House because, as you can see, there's this awesome big bush that's just completely swallowing up the house. Oh, I actually do have one more house that's in this book, and it's called the Tiny House. And I called it the Tiny House because it's probably the smallest house that I've ever found and photographed, but I got a couple pages of some really good photos of this house as well. And that's it. It's probably my favorite book so far. And I'll keep you guys updated. Probably 6 months to a year, I'll have an abandoned house part 3. But I gotta go to Puerto Rico this winter, and right now I have my hands tied with the Puerto Rico Cemeteries book 3, so it's gonna be a while before I do a abandoned farmhouses book 3. And I also have a Washington State Cemetery book that I'm working on that's going to be really good. So yeah, these are my prized possessions. Like I said, these books mean more to me than even my YouTube channel. Well, anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.